Hello everyone, welcome to Inconvenient Truths. I'm your host, Jennifer Zheng. Today we are going to talk about why China's Premier Li Qiang, who has been in office for just 1 year, has been dubbed the most miserable premier in the history of the CCP, and the possibility that Xi Jinping may further centralize his power and become the premier at the same time.
3月27号，国家主席习近平在北京人民大会堂集体会
On
见
March
美国工商业
27th,
和
Xi
战略局
Jinping
势
met
代表。
with representatives of the U.S. business community and strategic academia in Beijing. Some say this was just a visual demonstration of Xi Jinping's leadership and power. In the video published by the CCP's official media, the U.S. business community can be seen taking notes.
交流是健康可持续的。
Like school children were listening to Xi's speech as if they were afraid of missing any important instructions. However, few people in China or abroad believe that Xi is genuinely interested in improving the business environment for foreign companies. Otherwise, he wouldn't have enacted a counter-espionage law and recklessly arrested employees of foreign companies. For many Chinese watchers, what they were most interested in before Xi met with these American representatives was whether Chinese Premier Li Qiang would also show up. Traditionally, for the past 20 years, the premier had met separately with the delegates to the China Development Forum. But this year, this event has been cancelled. Li Qiang's role was replaced by Xi Jinping. However, if Li Qiang accompanied Xi Jinping to this event, it means that his status is still recognized to some extent. But Li Qiang didn't show up at all, and it was a one-man show for Xi Jinping. Not only that, but at several other recent events, Li Qiang's place was also taken by others. Let's see this. For example, yesterday, that's March 28th, at the opening of the Boao Forum for Asia in China, the keynote address for the opening ceremony, which the premier should have given, was instead given by Zhao Leji, chairman of the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress. It should be noted that Li Qiang attended the same occasion last year. Boao Forum is an economic activity and should, of course, be attended by the premier, who is in charge of the economy. But now it was attended by the chairman of the National People's Congress, who is theoretically in charge of China's domestic lawmaking. Isn't that strange? On March 25th, Cai Qi, a member of the Standing Committee of the Political Bureau of the CCP, met with Schwarzman, chairman and CEO of the Blackstone Group in Beijing. This kind of occasion should obviously also be more of a business of Li Qiang, the premier in charge of the economy. But Cai Qi, who only has a party role, stole the show. So the fact that Li Qiang was denied the opportunity to perform his role as the premier, as he should have 3 times in just 3 days, has led China observers to begin to speculate: will Li Qiang eventually be deposed? And will Xi Jinping eventually take over as premier as well? In fact, in the era of Li Keqiang, Li Qiang's predecessor, Xi Jinping took away the power that used to belong to the premier through various central leading groups, such as the Central Leading Group for Deepening Reforms, the Central Leading Group for Finance and Economics, and so on. Xi Jinping made decisions through these groups and then gave them to the State Council to implement. At that time, Xi Jinping was still behind the scenes. And now he has thrown Li Qiang out of the stage and has come to the forefront himself. You know, it's not unheard of in communist countries for the party's top leader to also serve as premier. For example, in the history of the Soviet Communist Party, Lenin, Stalin, and Khrushchev all served as premier of the Soviet Union. In Chinese history, Mao Zedong's chosen successor, Hua Guofeng, once served as chairman of the Central Committee of the CCP, premier of the State Council, and chairman of the CCP Central Military Commission, combining party, government, and military power in a single person. So what's next? Will Xi Jinping simply take on the role of premier as well? Given his character, it's not impossible. However, he might also use another method, which is to use a few other people to share Li Qiang's power and slowly centralize it to himself. In theory, Li Qiang was promoted by Xi Jinping himself, so why he was instead left out in the cold by Xi Jinping after becoming premier is still a mystery. Perhaps it is more convenient for Xi Jinping to do everything himself rather than trust anybody else. Some say it is because of rumors that Li Qiang persuaded Xi Jinping to end the lockdown after the White Paper Revolution against the zero COVID policy at the end of 2022, and that Xi Jinping was unhappy with the rumors. Firstly, the rumor could make the public grateful to Li Qiang, and secondly, the rumor would make people feel that Li Qiang has an influence on Xi Jinping. Before the CCP's 20th National Congress, some overseas dissidents enthusiastically spread the rumor that Xi will go down and Li will go up, which means that at the 20th National Congress, Xi would step down and Li Keqiang, the then premier, would replace Xi as the number one person in the party. When this rumor was spreading, although many people did not really believe in it, they still actively spread it. On the one hand, they hoped that it would indeed happen somehow, and on the other hand, they wanted to create division within the CCP. What happened? At the 20th Congress, Xi Jinping broke the tradition and secured a position equivalent to lifelong tenure, while Li Keqiang retired in disgrace and died in mysterious circumstances only 7 months after leaving office. Many people believe he was murdered by Xi Jinping. If Xi Jinping couldn't tolerate Li Keqiang simply because of a rumor claiming Xi will go down and Li will go up, then of course he wouldn't tolerate any goodwill towards Li Qiang from the public. Is that right? At the recently concluded 2 sessions of the CCP, Xi Jinping also broke the 30-year practice and cancelled the premier's press conference. And not only was it cancelled this year, but no premier's press conference will be held in the next few years. This photo of Li Qiang bending down to pick up something at the closing ceremony of the CCP's 2 sessions on March 11th has also attracted a lot of internet discussion. As you can see from the photo, Xi Jinping next to him is looking at him coldly, while Cai Qi on the other side looks totally unconcerned. This action of Li Qiang, who has achieved virtually nothing since taking office, is similar to his situation. He also wants to lie flat and do nothing, just like many youths in China. At that moment, the people in the conference hall might not even see him or notice his existence. That's why Li Qiang has now been called the most miserable premier in the history of the CCP. What we might expect next is that Xi Jinping will become even more reckless, and the significant disparity between his enormous ambition and his pitiful IQ is highly likely to tear him apart, bringing greater disasters to himself, China, and the world. Well, that's all for today. Please take a moment to like and share my videos or go to my website at jenniferzengblog.com to sign up for a membership or make a donation to support my effort. Thank you. Have a nice weekend, and see you next time.